Palmer, I should have hit on this when we were talking wide receivers, but everybody always wants to know about the quarterback position, and especially with JT Daniels showing so much promise, but having a limited repertoire, limited resume coming in against Mississippi State, tossing up the 400 yards and playing well down the stretch, and of course winning the Peach Bowl. Just what JT's working on, what are some of the information coming out of camp concerning his development?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing would be his comfort level and being both mentally and physically. Last year he was coming off of an ACL injury of his own knee. A question mark was all season was how healthy was his knee, and if his knee had been healthy, would he have been starting earlier? My guess is that his knee was probably not healthy enough, and that I think that's a question that may not ever be answered. Kirby Smart's not going to give away that information. JT Daniels isn't going to give away that information. My guess is that he probably wasn't healthy and confident enough in his knee to be the starter early on, and when Georgia was necessarily struggling at the quarterback position, and looking at the differences between what they had in those first 6 games and those final 4 games between Bennett and Mathis in the first 6 and Daniels as the consistent starter in the final 4. I think that physically that's where he feels a lot more comfortable. And then mentally, just having a second year in this system with offensive coordinator Todd Monken, I think everyone on that offense feels more comfortable because you've got a traditional offseason you've been through. You've been through a traditional spring, you've been through a traditional summer of workouts and stuff. You're getting to meet in person to do some of these install periods versus last year everything was on Zoom and everything was so weird and it was just Georgia was fighting an uphill battle putting in that offense offensively the entire season because of the hurdles that they had to clear putting in an offense and doing that in the COVID era. Obviously there's still some restrictions and regulations, but being able to have that spring and being able to, be together this summer, be together this fall in a traditional setting, I think that's been huge for Daniels and the entire offense. I think, he may not have had his best day. He probably didn't throw for 401 yards yesterday in the scrimmage, but like we said earlier, he's working with he's short-staffed at wide receiver. He's got some guys that he feels comfortable in, and they weren't necessarily out there. And so, I think Georgia fans should still feel very confident in what they've got with JT Daniels, especially given the fact that he feels so much more comfortable, and Todd Monken and this entire offense, all the players around him feel so much more comfortable.